Hello everyone, as I promised yesterday, I will be talking about the quarter 4 of 2019 earning release from NCSoft. So this is basically a breakdown on how NCSoft as a company is doing, as well as all their independent IPs or intellectual properties. So first of all, they do have a disclaimer saying that this is unaudited and numbers may change based on the auditing process, blah blah blah. We don't care about that. So over here, the first one is the financial highlights quarterly. So there's basically saying like, hey, you know, we did pretty good in sales, we did okay in operating profit. However, the most important one that you want to pay attention to is net income. Net income is awfully terrible, so that sucks. But here is where we want to take a look, the sales breakdown. So if you guys remember from my old video where we talked about the quarter 3 breakdown, we were like, oh look, you know, it's not that bad. BNS is sort of recovering. However, as you can see right here in quarter 4, we're at 17,000 now. So we're basically on a downward trend. We went up a little bit in quarter 3, but then we went back down pretty significantly in quarter 4. And we are all waiting and hoping that the Unreal Engine 4 will bring a surge of new players back. Just like what they have done with Lineage over here when it was quarter 1 to quarter 2, you can see there was a huge surge. So we're all hoping that with the introduction of Unreal Engine 4, it's going to do the same thing. You know, we're basically going to double in sales, and this will be a spike in quarter 1 of 2020. But we have yet to see that yet because the Unreal Engine 4 thing, or the Frontier server, doesn't release until the 26th. So we're just waiting for that date. Once it comes out, we'll actually see actual in-game performance. And if it is very, very smooth, and if the net coding and everything is actually very good, then we can start predicting if Blade and Soul is going to be much better with the new engine. A thing that surprised me a little bit is Aeon is actually doing really, really bad. Aeon dropped significantly, so I don't exactly know what happened with Aeon, but that is a very steep drop, so there's that. Guild Wars 2 also, but I'm assuming Guild Wars 2 just has a lack of content from what I heard. There's just been a dry spell, not really having any content, and nobody really knowing if the team is actually making new content or not for Guild Wars 2. So that's understandable that there has been a drop in interest in that. However, Aeon, I don't know what's going on. Blade and Soul is just performance issues, you know? People are just sick and tired of performance issues and the selfish decisions that were made with the events, very cash grabby, very, you know, it just didn't feel right for a lot of the community. So I understand the drop here as well. But if Unreal Engine 4 does come out and it does fix the performance issue, that is one step in the right direction. Then hopefully we can fix the rest of the cash grabbing and hopefully make the game a little bit more balanced. Over here is the sales breakdown yearly by the game, which is very unfortunate for Blade and Soul. You can see in 2017, Blade and Soul was doing much, much better. However, 2018, 2019, it's just a steady decline all the way down. So hopefully with 2020, this will peak back up because of the Unreal Engine 4 update. However, we have to wait and see how that turns out. So next up is the sales breakdown by region. So I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, but they included the Blade and Soul Korea figures inside, so you know it's not an accurate representation. But if you look over here, they break it down by region. So you've got Taiwan, Japan, NA/EU, and then Korea. So you can clearly see that NA/EU is not doing very well. You can see them slowly declining. However, the decline was much greater from quarter 3 to quarter 4. You can see that went from 24,000 down to 17,000. While quarter 4 of 2018 till quarter 3 of 2019, it was pretty steady. It was like 25,000, 25,000, 25,000, and 24,000. So like the decline wasn't too crazy. However, quarter 4 was a much bigger deal. So I do advise that NC West and NCSoft do discuss a little bit about their business practices, because that is the main variable which caused this dip. It's not because the game suddenly became worse. It's mainly just because of the mismanagement and the decision making, the upper and middle management. If we look at the other regions, you can see that Korea is on a steady growth. It did dip a little bit in quarter 1 of 2019, however, it steadily grew back up, and now in quarter 4 of 2019, it was doing pretty well. It's on an upward growth. However, for the other regions, not much can be said about them. It's kind of up, down, or just stable across the board. So the only one that's on a downward spiral is the NA and E region, so we need to work on that. So next up is the cost breakdown over here. You can read this yourself. I will leave the link for this document in the description below so that you can click it and download it for yourself and read all over it. Because I personally am not a finance guy, and finance has always been more of Levi's specialty or Evil Doers Harm specialty and not mine. I don't really like to look at numbers that much. But overall, the TLDR is Blade & Soul's not looking so good right now. It's not in any danger of just dying, of like, you know, canceling the game altogether, even in the West. However, a lot of the success will depend on the Unreal Engine 4 update and how successful that is. If that is very successful in Korea and the optimization as well as the net coding and all of that is fixed, or is at least a lot better than our current version of the game, then there exists the possibility of Blade & Soul actually going back on the rise again and increasing more in player value as well as revenue. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the